Holmes' book, and there are some amazing things in there. And so we had them this morning in class, and it's just a rich experience. All of these discussion groups are rich experiences because it's back and forth, and you're involved in it. And it really is. It's a great way to expand your own learning base. Whether you're sitting out in that circle, you come to that between class before service, or the one that I am doing on Wednesday morning. It is just, you need to pick what is good for you and give it a try. The next Wednesday service will be right here in the sanctuary, and we will move forward in time as we do that. It's going to be right here online and in this sanctuary. The Women's Circle is also, we're looking ahead a week. It is on Sunday, June the 5th, so that's a week from this Sunday. We want you to enjoy that or be a part of that if that is your group. Now, the big thing that we're talking about, which is definitely looking ahead, is the yard sale that we are doing. The men's group is putting this together, and it's an active thing that's going on. People are already bringing donations in. You can do that. Mark Ruth happens to be standing out there in the foyer because he's assisting with something else. But it is, it's something that has been an enriching experience at this center for decades, really. It's a long, long tradition. And it gives all of us the opportunity to release things that we're no longer using. And the experience at Airhead is entitled Release and Restore. And so it is really an opportunity. Releasing is an important part, both of stuff, which allows you to make space for something else, and the same thing with things in our lives. So this is your opportunity to release your stuff that somebody else is going to love. And so that's what we're looking forward to having. Now, I think that we also have opportunities to volunteer to help in the setup of this. So you're invited to do that if you wish to. That's what we are all doing. I don't like to close without reminding myself and you all how grateful we are at this center for your participation in this service, participation in all the things that we do, your financial donations, your prayers that are so important to us, and your spiritual support in general for what we do, because that is our whole reason for being. And so we thank you very, very much. And now it's the time in our service where the spotlight now moves to the speaker. And here she goes, the Reverend Mary Morgan. Little.
Da, 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 da. There we are. Hi, you guys. Gosh, we're a mighty group. That's 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. Hi. 12, 13, 14. All righty. How are you doing? Well, this is a little low for where I'm going here. I just want to let you know I wrote about 15 talks, and I'm probably not using any of them. But it's true. That is absolutely true. I have like notebooks. Do you ever see these books? I saw that Dr. Mike uses these as well. And I said, hey, these are so perfect for notes and stuff. So I'm going to start with a little story I had heard from Mary Morrissey. And she gives an example of a man that he was out of a job and he wasn't sure what to do. And he sees this ad for the zoo. And they said, we're hiring at the zoo. So he's like, hey, you know what? You never know. Maybe I'm cut out to work at the zoo. So he goes and he applies for the job, and he goes, well, I know computers, I know this, I know all kinds of technical stuff. And they go, well, really what we need is someone to wear the gorilla suit, because our gorilla is transferred to another zoo, and now we don't have a gorilla. And he was like the main attraction. So he's like, wear a gorilla suit. And he's like, well, times being what they are, let's see. And he goes, well, it's really weird that he tries it on. The suit fits him perfectly. And he's like, well, and it's not so hot. It's not terrible. He was like, okay, I can do this. So he starts performing, being out in the gorilla area, and everybody's fascinated. He's like, ooh, and he's doing all this cool stuff, and they're like, he is becoming the main attraction again. He's like, wow, I love this. I'm getting all these accolades. It's just wonderful. Whoever knew that this was my real talent? So one day he gets carried away with himself, and he's swinging on a vine. And he's swinging, swinging, swinging on a vine, and the vine breaks, and he lands right in the lion's den. So he's standing there looking, and he's like, for a moment, he forgot that he was supposed to be the gorilla, and he's like, help, help, and he's screaming, help. And the lion goes, shh, we're all going to lose our jobs. And the moral of that story is that this teaching and our own spiritual development is not just something that we try on and pretend, right? It's something that we live every day and practice at. And so it's something to take seriously and to heart, and to know that, these principles remind us not only is there a power for good in the universe that we use, but that we're one with this power. So every time you're faced with a challenge, anybody faced with a challenge other than me? Okay, anytime you're faced with a challenge, we have to remind ourselves that there's this power, excuse me, that's deep inside of us that knows the answer. And so our deal is to say, many times I think we look at our circumstances and we let our circumstances decide for us, don't we? If we're having a good day, it's because we didn't run out of milk, or we've got coffee, or we got a call from somebody or whatever. But our circumstances don't really determine where we are, do they? Our circumstances are just there to remind us of things. Those are our conditions, and we never come from the condition, even though it's an impulse to. I heard, I was released from my job a little while ago, and so I've been in between jobs. And as a result, it's been interesting. I've been helping our lovely Reverend Martha, who's going through some physical challenges. And I thought, if I'd been working, I wouldn't be available to do this. And I thought, my God, isn't this? And my friend, my dear Dr. Reverend Beverly Craig in La Crescenta said, she and I have dinner all the time, and she said, there's a reason. I go, well, you know what? I wish she would come and knock me on the head, because I'm not getting it. So she said, there's a reason, and I don't know what it is, but we're all praying, and we're just going to know it's a reason. I said, yeah, that's true. And I thought, there's the reason. And things are starting to fall together for Reverend Martha, finding her assisted living and all that kind of stuff, and helping her out, taking her to the doctor's office, and all kinds of stuff. So that's all working out. And I thought, if we stay out of the awfulizing of things and stay in the this too is for good, the moment you put on your radar that you're looking only for good, that's all that's going to show up. Right? And those people, and you everybody in this room, you're probably all one of them, that people go to you and go, oh, you're so positive all the time. It's like, yeah, because you can't afford that negative thought. You just cannot afford to go down that rabbit hole, because what does that do? I learned a meditation from Reverend Dr. Kathy Ann Lewis up in Seattle. I took an online workshop with her. And that's what I've been doing, you guys. There are so many fun workshops that are out there. Oh, my God. Last week I took Kick Fear to the Curb. Yesterday I took a thing with Susie Orman. I mean, there's all kinds of free workshops out there with tons of information. So, in fact, I took this one yesterday, and I got the catalyst going with my brother and sister going, we should look at this and this and this. And they're like, hey, okay. So there's so much wealth of information out there. So I took one last night with this gal named Mel Robbins. Has anybody ever heard of her? Oh, my Lord, you've got to check her out. You have got to check her out. She is amazing. But one of the things that she brought up was, have you noticed during COVID, maybe not now as much because we're getting out and about a little bit, even though I think numbers are rising temporarily, but did you notice that you were exhausted? Did anybody notice that at all? Everybody that I talked to are like, God, I'm wasted. I'm so tired. And it's like, you're not really doing anything, because, people weren't going into their offices. They weren't, going to the food store and stuff. And she points out this thing, and I thought it was brilliant. She said, think about just going to the food store when COVID was full bore, right? And we were wearing the masks and the gloves and the hand sanitizers and all the stuff, right? So think about that. Just to go to the food store, you're in your car going, God, are the germs in my car? Okay, I'm going to the food store. I'm going to get milk. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get that. Well, what if somebody touched the milk? Oh, God, I wonder if the germs live on the milk carton. Oh, you know what? Are there going to be other? How close do I stand to people? Why can't I just move up and give the gal? Oh, I'm giving the gal physical money. Oh, my God, physical money could be carrying germs. And your mind just goes. And so she was demonstrating that, like, by the time you get home, you're like, you're exhausted from buying a carton of milk. And you don't even realize it. You don't even realize this stuff. So that's being mindful of it. But there are things in our everyday life where we keep ourselves so busy with stuff, right, that we forget that, to not exhaust yourself with thoughts you can do nothing about. So this Mel Robbins teaches this thing, the 5 count. And she was relaying it to a liftoff with a NASA, with a rocket. And she says, when you're encountering something stressful, what happens with your mind? What happens with your mind? It races, and you think of everything that can go wrong. You're worried, and so your mind isn't in the present, it's out there. It's worrying about all this other stuff, right? So she says, the moment that you get in that spot where you're worrying, count backwards, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then have a new anchor thought to go to. Because our minds are like boats, and if we're not anchored, they're going to go flipping with the tide, right? So we don't want that to happen. We want it to go in the direction of our dream, right? Or what our vision, or whatever it is that we want. So the thing is that you say, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm in perfect control right here and now. I'm present, I'm well, and all is well. I saw a great definition of joy, and it says, I'm going to go it from memory because I don't even know where it is in my notes, but it's, joy is staying in happiness no matter what the circumstances are. And isn't that interesting? Because happiness is, oh gosh, I'm great, we're going to have a picnic or whatever we're doing, right? But joy is to be able to stay in that moment no matter what's going on in the world. Because the world will always tell you something negative is going to happen. There's always, you turn on, I haven't turned on the news, although we are right now sending our prayers to Texas, because I just found out about that because I did not watch the news yesterday. I don't even know all the details of it, and I don't know what I did with my glasses. There they are. I always have to check, are they on my head? Half the time I think they're on my head and they're not, and then people see you feel in your head just like, does she have bugs? I don't know. Oh, I have to share this. I was going through stuff, and I'll read it to you, but it says, she woke up one day and decided to quit cleaning her house and start decorating her soul instead. And I thought, well, there you go. There's a reason my vacuum cleaner broke. It did. It's on, I don't know, it's resting right now, so it's resting. So the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is the exercise to say, you know what? Rethink. Stop and rethink. Rethink. There's this story about a community of monks, and they were beginning to notice that their numbers were dwindling, and they were starting to really, really worry, saying, wow, we're losing our whole community here. Little by little, we're all aging and moving on. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And they remembered that out in the woods on their property was a shed, and there was a rabbi that used to go and pray there every day. And they were always mindful that he was praying, but they never really interacted with him. I mean, they were all on good terms, but they never really, they let him be, because that was his thing. He was going there to pray. So the monks in the community said to the master monk, why don't you go talk to the rabbi and ask him, what could we do to build our community again? So he's like, well, that's a good idea. And he says, okay, so he goes to the shed, knocks on the door. Oh, Rabbi, I'm so sorry to disturb you, but may I speak with you? And he says, sure, come on in. Has a cup of tea, and they're sitting there having a cup of tea, and they spend like an hour commiserating. Our community's going down. He goes, yeah, ours is too, and da-da-da-da-da. And they talk, and he goes, okay, well, it's time for me to go. Thank you for your time. We appreciate your prayers, and we'll keep praying for you. And he goes, okay. And as he's shutting the door and the monk is going away, the rabbi yells out, oh, you know what? One of you is the Messiah, and shuts the door. So the monk walks away. I have goosebumps. I don't know why, but I have goosebumps. So the monk walks away, and he comes back to his community of monks, and they go, well, what did the rabbi say? What did the rabbi say? He goes, well, nothing really. We sat there talking. He made a good cup of tea. But, really, we didn't really. He goes, but, he did say one interesting thing. He said, as he shut the door, he said, one of you is the Messiah. And they're all like, what does that mean? He goes, I have no idea. So then they go to their rooms, and they're doing their chores and their things, and they start thinking, well, it's got to be the master teacher because he's so learned and intelligent and well-read. It's got to be him. But it could be brother so-and-so. It could be brother John because, he's got this heart of gold. But, it's never going to be Brother Edgar, because he's a real pain in the butt. He's always complaining, and he's just a negative. But then again, he's always there when you need him. If you ask him for something, he helps you. So little by little, they begin thinking, you know what? What if it's me? What if it's me? And so they start walking around with a different countenance because they start to think, wow, what if God is me? Right? So think about it in this room. We've got 11 powerful or 15 powerful people. But think about it. If we treated everyone as though they were the God, right? That they were a gift to you. Like everything that they said to you was like, wow, I was meant to hear that today, right? Did you ever see that? Or maybe it's today. Maybe there's something you were meant to hear and you go, wow, this really rings true in my mind. Maybe I was meant to hear that. Like I'm supposed to start appreciating myself a little bit more, I'm supposed to start acknowledging who I am a little bit more. I haven't said one thing about what I was going to speak about. So let's see what was I going to write about. And it's like multiple pages. It's multiple pages. So let's see. I'm skipping. So isn't this interesting? I wrote this in 2009, and then I added 4 more pages at 6:30 this morning. And who knows if I'm even going to talk about those either. So it just depends on what the moment is. I know that one of the things I did want to bring up, and I found the notes from like 100 years ago. I don't even know. Oh, normally I put a date on the book, and it was like probably around, I don't know, 2010? Pardon me? You have a couple of books that look alike. Oh, they all look alike. Yeah, that's why I write them on the cover, like this is from so-and-so, and then how do we stay in tune with the divine? How do we stay in tune with reminding ourselves who we are every day? How do we do it? One of the ways is through connecting. So the idea is that every day it's important to have some kind of a ritual that you do, best in the morning before you hop out of bed and all the stuff starts happening, to just remind yourself that you're connected. You're connected to people, you're connected to the universe, and you are connected to God because God is by means of you. And whatever it is you need to do that is so essential. What I learned on a workshop from Seattle was we were studying Emma Curtis Hopkins. And Emma Curtis Hopkins is noted for keeping the high watch. So our meditation was lifting our eyes to a 45-degree angle. And the reference point, if you need to do it, and I'm telling you, I did it again this morning. I haven't done it for a while, and I said, okay, Mary, you're writing this stuff. You better start doing it yourself. So you just literally sit in the room, and it's basically where the wall meets the ceiling. It's about a 45-degree angle. And you do nothing but look. You don't go with a mantra, you don't go with your wish list, you don't do your God is, I am, you don't do anything but listen, and you just be, right? And all you're doing is looking. And the idea is that as you look up, right, there is there is a different energy vibration that is created. So try something. Look down for a second. When you look down, it's limited. There's a different physical energy in your body. And we're talking about that we are all a vibration, right? We are all vibrational energy. And everything that's occurring in our life is responding to the vibration that we're sending out. So if you don't like what you're seeing in your life, you go, uh-oh, time to check in and time to figure out what am I generating out there? What's going on with me? And as you probably have noticed, out in the world, I don't know about you, but have you run into a lot of like schizoid people or strange interactions and stuff? It's because everybody's got this frenetic energy right now. And I think it's really largely due to the COVID and going, okay, they're hyper vigilant, like, okay, I got to do this, this, and this, and then I got to do this, and then I've got to wipe it down with sanitizer. And did you wear, oh God, I forgot my mask. Where's my mask? It's all that. And we run into those people and you just have to go, I'm just going to breathe and I'm going to be calm. And looking down limits your vision. But when you look up, you have such a different perspective and you have peripheral vision. You see things around you. It's different, just the very, very looking up. So the idea is to have a practice to remind yourself that you're connected. Just have a practice. The next thing is to reflect on it. So every day, just think about it. Oh, isn't that interesting? Look at how God is showing up as that person. Look at how God is showing up in this situation. Something happens to you. It could be negative or it could be positive. And you say, how am I going to respond to this? And remembering that we don't respond from the circumstance. We respond from our vision of what it is that we desire. So if something's showing up that isn't in your vision, you say, isn't that interesting? What am I meant to learn right here in this circumstance? So you reflect. Let me make sure I said everything I want to say. Okay, and then if something's out of kilter, you correct it. You say, oh, isn't that interesting? I was just about to get into agreement with feeling crabby towards that person because of what they said to me. And I'm not going to go there. And so you just correct it. You just catch yourself. It doesn't mean stuff doesn't happen. You just catch yourself a little faster. And you begin to train yourself. When we go to the gym, when you first start working out with weights, you go with like the 2-pound or the 5-pound, and all of a sudden you go home and you're like, my arms are killing me. I did that. My chiropractor was like, oh, you should try this one exercise. So I was doing this thing with this weight, and I thought, this is so easy. The next day I'm like, I can't move my arms. So I went in and he goes, oh, I think you used too heavy of a weight. Because I thought, oh, this weight's so light, it's not doing anything. I'm going to use the 15-pounder. And I'm doing this, and I do it like, he goes, how many reps did you do? I go, I did 3 reps of 20. He's like, what do you think? Because I went from 0 to nothing. So I'm like, okay, I can't move my arms. I learned my lesson. But we slowly build. It's like our spiritual development. We slowly build. It's like it's a practice every day. That's why they call it a practice. You practice and you practice and you just implement new things that inspire you. And not forgetting to surround yourself by like-minded people, because that's so essential. Being around people that are positive thinkers, or even if they're it doesn't mean that they don't have a bad day, but be around people that go, wow, I sure pulled a doozy on myself the other day. And then you auto-correct. So then the next, you bring yourself back to the state that allows you to realize your dream and be in the space to create the life you desire. That's what you correct about. Like, oh, wow, I was almost feeling like my old self that was kind of out of touch. I don't like that anymore. Dr. Frank had a great saying, yesterday ended last night. Yesterday ended last night. And then you reflect. This is an opportunity for you to just reflect on, who am I? What am I doing here? What's my purpose? Why did I bring myself to this vision, this time, etc.? I'm going to go to my new pages that I wrote. Oh, okay. I love this. And I think I got this from Ruth Wagner. The same boiling water that softens a potato boils an egg, hardens an egg. So it's not the water, it's not the circumstance, but it's what you're made of. So it's the same boiling water that softens a potato, hardens an egg. And so sometimes we'll blame our circumstances, don't we? Like, wow, I sure had a jerky boss. Wow, that relationship was sure terrible. Boy, that investment sure was bad. Whatever it is, we'll blame that. But remembering that it's what we're made of. So you get to automatically, again, correct that thinking and say, I kind of don't like my response to that because it doesn't make me feel so great inside. So, oh yes, I wrote down there that's by the famous author Anonymous. That saying, the famous author Anonymous. The thing to remember is many times when we are in a challenge or fear and something's troubling us, the best thing to do is let go and let divine right action flow through you. Permit nothing between you and the joy. Say with me right now, I am thankful for all life, and I encircle all things and all people with love. Think about that for a second. When you come from a place of being completely, undeniably thankful for everything, and you bless everything, what happens? You feel better, and you have now raised your vibration, right? Because you've been around those, what's that character? Is it Eeyore that's always complaining? Or think about in Peanuts Pigpen, and he's always got the dirt around him. We probably all have friends like that, don't we? Do you have friends like that? I do. I have friends like that. I'm not totally, we're slowly weeding them out, but I do. I have friends like that. And you go, oh boy, and then you walk away and you start feeling kind of, But you know what? You just have to say, I'm blessing this because no matter what's happening, it's only good. The moment you declare that it's only good, that's what happens. That's where it goes. As we go along life, we're always admitting a vibrational energy that goes wherever you are. You want to attract the things that are positive and joyous and uplifting. Oh, let's see here. How about saying this one with me? I love this one. I am one with the invisible forces of God. And what does that mean? I'm one with the invisible forces of God. That means that wherever I am right in this moment, I have the power to initiate that energy, wisdom, and love and compassion, and whatever it is that I need to get through that situation in that moment. And remember the stressing. We want to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and anchor it with a new thought like, I'm a divine being of God. And say whatever you say to yourself to lift your own spirits. You find yourself starting to go in that negative spot, catch yourself right away. Louise Hay has the great, she's really a big fan of mirror work. Have any of you done mirror work? Where you look at yourself in the mirror and you say the affirmations. It is really powerful because you're looking in your own eyes. And sometimes if you're looking in the mirror, you're like, oh God, look at that. Oh, I've got a spot over here or whatever it is. You have to stop, not do that, and just look right in your eyes and look deep in your eyes and say these affirmations. And when you say them, there's something that registers in your mind because it just has a deeper effect. The spiritual laws are always pulling us to a greater expression of ourselves. As we learn to enlarge our ideas, our visions, and our mental pictures of what we desire in life, fashion themselves after our vision. They have to, don't they? Because the moment that we have a vision about where we want to go and what we want to do, the universe will do everything in its power to create that because you've just given your declaration to the universe. But if you waver and go, oh, you know what? I don't really, what am I thinking? I don't really deserve that. Or God, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine doing that. I was thinking again about Mel Robbins because she was talking about, she does a great TED Talk. I can't remember the name of it, but it's outrageous. It's really, you got to look her up. And she says that one of the most overused words in the English language is fine. How are you? Oh, I'm fine. I didn't get that job that I wanted, but I'm fine. My husband and I are getting a divorce, but we're fine. We're fine. You know what? My 401k just tanked and dropped about $30,000, but I'm okay. It's fine. I'm fine. right? We all tell ourselves that we're fine, right? So she's saying, lose that fine and be truthful with yourself, because this teaching is not about pretending or like pouring pink paint on things and pretending like nothing's happening. It's about saying, okay, isn't this interesting? I'm going to now allow myself to rethink what it is that I really desire. I'm going to rethink, but I'm not going to pretend. I'm not going to say, oh, this doesn't exist, because we all know about that. You start pushing down feelings in your body, and what happens? People manifest all kinds of things in their bodies because they're shoving down feelings that they don't want to deal with. So it isn't about shoving the feelings away or the reality of it away, but it's also saying, this may be the condition that I'm facing right now, but that condition is not determining where I'm going and what my vision is. So we let it not happen. Mary Mana Morrissey tells a story about how Wayne Dyer was traveling from Florida and needed to get to Chicago to do a talk. And when he first took off out of Florida, they had an emergency plane landing. There was something wrong with his plane, and the emergency landed. And he was like, everybody was safe and everything was great, but the problem is that 300 people on the plane also needed to make new flight reservations to get to Chicago. So by the time he gets to the desk, there's no other available flights to Chicago. And he's telling the gal, you don't understand. I'm speaking before 5,000 people tonight. I've got to get there by tonight, before tonight. And she goes, well, I'm sorry, sir, there's absolutely nothing available. So he looks at her and says, well, is there anybody else that I can talk to that doesn't believe that getting to Chicago is impossible? So she's like, well. So she goes back and she gets her supervisor, and the supervisor comes out. And he said, I know you're looking at this and it looks like there's nothing to Chicago. I'm asking you to keep a creative mind to figure out a way to get me to Chicago so I can give this talk tonight. He said, within 2 minutes, she goes, well, I found it. She said, there's a couple stops, and it's kind of counterintuitive. You're going to have to fly south in order to go north. But she said, I've got it, and you will make it on time. So we get to ask ourselves, we can say the same thing. If something turns up that says no to you, if it's saying no to you, just say, is there any other possibility of someone or something helping me that doesn't think it's impossible, and allow that to happen? You don't have to figure out the how, right? This teaching never tells us the how, but it does say the what. What? Keep your vision going. Keep your ideas going. Keep yourself centered in that power, in that presence, and knowing that the universe is always for you. Shoot, I got flashed. Oh my goodness. I got flashed, and I have 2 more pages. Oh wow, yes, the continuing saga of. So the mind that I use is the mind of God. Remember, right here in every moment is every moment that we need. Everything we do is an effect of invisible forces. Everything that we do is an effect of invisible forces. Sometimes we take inventory of our lives, our qualities, and our abilities, and they don't measure up in some area. Does that happen with you at all? Oh, thank God. Okay, I'm not by myself. Because sometimes you kind of do an assessment and you go, wow, I could lose a good 20 pounds and not blink an eye, right? I could really do that. But this teaching reminds us not to let our conditions speak for us. Deep within, there's a voice of God saying, you are magnificent. You are awesome. You are amazing. And those are the affirmations you can use while you're looking yourself in the kisser, when you're looking in your mirror. You are the light of the world. I want you to look next door to your neighbor and say, you are the light of the world. You are the light of the world. You better say it with meaning. Say it again. You are the light of the world. You are the light of the world. There you go. See, now look at the energy vibration that we just raised by that. So let's see here. Ordinary people believe only in the possible, but extraordinary people believe not only in the possible or probable, but the impossible. And by visualizing the impossible, it becomes a reality. Just like Wayne Dyer. Is there anything that I can see and I wrote that, and then I heard the Wayne Dyer story, so that, okay, I think that's what I'm supposed to talk about. So keep the high watch and remember, Oh, I cannot take credit for this. I don't know who said it, but I'm just going to say it. You're not here to heal what's broken. You are here to reveal what's whole. You're not here to heal what's broken. You're here. I have goosebumps. Do you have God bumps? I have God bumps. You're not here to heal what's broken. You're here to reveal what's whole. And that's such a difference, isn't it? It's such a difference from even the way all of us were probably brought up. You bad dog. And instead, it's like, no, I'm here to discover. Remember, our purpose, in case you're wondering what your purpose is, I know what it is. Our purpose is to discover our gifts and put them out there in the world. That's all it is. It's all it is. Discover your gift and put it out there in the world and build. Reminder, we have all arrived. There's nothing more you need to do or become any more than yourself. Your divine self, as part of the great mind of God, the I am consciousness, we are all eternal spirits unfolding. And so it is. Okay. And now, thank you. I believe, do we do an offertory now? Okay, we do an offertory now. Oh, do we have any questions? Oh, after the offertory. Okay. Oh, yes. And you know what? I think you all know this prayer, don't you? I think so. 1, 2, 3. Divine love consecrates this gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper all those who give and all those who receive. I rejoice in the sharing of my gift, and I release my gift with love. And so it is. All righty. Thank you, Ruth. How many are going to Lake Arrowhead? I see one hand. I see Ruthie's hand. You're not going. Oh, wow. I'm working on my affirmations back there. I hand out our little affirmations for the nature walk. We're going to do some fun things. I have to, my one assignment that I've given myself is I have to stop at the store and buy some duct tape because our nature walk is normally like a half hour of silence, and we're doing 2.5 hours of silence. I said, oh, sweet Jesus. So I'm buying duct tape, and I will offer it to anybody else, because keeping quiet for 2.5 hours is like, holy cats. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. We're going to know that all comes through with grace and ease. So, okay, so now are there any questions? Judy, did you have a question? Okay, what's your comment?
Well, number one, you were talking about recognizing the fulfillment of what you're doing as opposed to going through 16 hours of lifting 16 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they pointed out yesterday that with the ring and some other device they have just created, that the most important part of your exercise is not doing it or getting through it, but what the results are. And these two magnificent pieces of equipment can tell you if you've overdone yourself.
Oh.
You can physically cut back.
Oh.
And also, when you guys sit and look at that break in the ceiling, you're actually opening the upper chakra.
Yes, yes.
And yesterday they had a Mary Tyler Moore, and Ted kept saying his wife couldn't dance. And she came out there and did splendid work. And he said, see, she's just no good. So it's all in the eye of the beholder.
It is all in the eye of the beholder. Yeah. And many times I think we take what other people say to us, about us, we take it so much more seriously than the sweet messages we may have told ourselves, right? So that's why it's important to always, give positive accolades to people, especially the ones you love. And those are usually the ones we're the toughest on, right? It's like, you're the toughest.
Talking about Louise Hayes.
Yes.
Looking in the mirror. And
Yes.
one of the classes I took, I did buy, glass, and I put some of Louise's things on it. But I took something called Life Spring years and years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've heard of that.
One thing we were supposed to do, it was like, I don't know how many weeks. Every day you get up in the morning and say, I am beautiful.
Well,
And I started that, and at the end, at the last day when I was going in, I went everything from being a bag lady to who knows what. And I found myself, when I looked in the mirror, I looked beautiful, but then I thought, it's the spirit within me that's showing the beauty.
Sure, sure.
And if you, and it's like if you do it long, if you think it's silly, but it's not silly because it works.
Well, and I think the thing is that when you start looking yourself in the mirror, it's almost intimidating because it's like, wow, I'm supposed to tell myself I'm great and wonderful and stuff. You're almost like, I don't know about that. But the moment that you allow yourself to do that and allow that to penetrate into your psyche, it has such a difference on your countenance. You know the people in your life that feel confident about themselves, that feel strong about themselves, that have a sense of being about themselves. And you know the people that don't as well, because when you see those, you realize, they have a thing. There was a man that honked at me this morning when I got off the freeway. I did not wave hi. I was going to use Mike's one-finger peace symbol. No, I didn't. I was not going to do that. I would not do that. But I just thought that was funny when he said that. But I was like getting all cranky, and I thought, wait a second. You are sitting here like in like La La Land having this beautiful love fest about people and God and stuff. I'm like, you're going to let that guy? And he honked at me, and I was trying to let somebody else in, which I did, and she waved like, thank you. And he's honking at me like, you old bat. And I'm like, what? And I kind of look over at him, then I thought, oh, wait a minute. I'm going to bless his pointy little head. And I had to just do that because, you know what? Otherwise, I would have gone right out the window of all this. I just was marinating in this beautiful stuff for 45 minutes driving, and then all of a sudden this guy's going to untank me. No, not happening. So now this is the time of meditation, correct? No. Ruth's saying no. It's over. Okay, what time is it?
It's actually 11:45.
Ow.
We're having so much fun.
Well, the talk's over, but it's not time? Oh, well, let's do a quick meditation. Okay, all right, we'll do a really quick one, okay? And then could we turn down the lights, please? And then do we, by any chance, have any soothing music from the angels?
She can sing.
Okay. Oh, we're getting the curtains down. But the lights don't go down? Can we get the lights down? Oh, there we go. Okay. All righty, I'm going to sit. Okay. So here we go. Let's know together. As we take a deep breath in, let's do some grounding work for ourselves. And as you see yourself, try to uncross your legs and your hands. Feel your feet firmly planted on the ground. And let's just take a deep breath in from the bottom of your feet and bring that breath up through your body, up through your spine, up through your shoulders and your neck, and out the top of your head. And see that breath circle back around and come back down to your feet. And now, this next breath, picture it coming from deep within the earth. And picture that breath coming up through the earth, the centering, grounding sense of earth. And feel it moving up through your body. And this time, it goes through your body and your bones and your muscles and your cells, up through your knees and your hips and your spine and your shoulders and your neck. And then it moves out the top of your crown chakra, and then circle that breath around. See that breath going all the way through Mother Earth, deep within the earth, and breathe in. Breathe in that beautiful, fresh, refreshing, clear air. See these magical ions of the earth moving up through the bottom of your feet. And this time, just see it going through your body like scrubbing bubbles, moving and taking with it anything that does not belong to who you are. Just see that moving up through your legs, through your knees, your thighs, your hips, up your spine and clearing it, up your shoulders, your neck, and out the top of your crown chakra. And this time, one last time, see that breath going deep through Mother Earth. And as that breath moves in, just pull that refreshing oxygen through your body. See it now turning on all sorts of little lights all through your body, lighting up every cell and atom and muscle, bone. See it turning on lights as it moves up through your hips and your spine and your shoulders and out the top of your head. And this time, see that oxygen going way out into the universe, pulling with it anything that does not serve you any longer. Any ache or pain or issue or anything, pull it out the top of your crown chakra and see it just transmute like a fireworks just exploding out into the universe and dissipating into nothingness. And here we are breathing in this sense of feeling grounded to the earth, grounded to who I am, grounded to God is I am. And as I breathe in, I know that I am the invincible light of God right here, that all the forces of the universe are supporting me, are supporting my vision, are surrounding me with light, guiding me with protection, wisdom, compassion, understanding, happiness, joy, love. And that peace moves through my being now, surrounding me in this golden white light. And I know as I move through my day, my vibrations are high. I attract to me only that which I desire, only that which is for my highest good. And as I look into the eyes of all the people that I meet today, I see the God in them and honor it. And when I look and do my mirror work into my eyes, I see the God in me, living, moving, and having its being as me. With this realization and understanding, I acknowledge right here and now, I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. And now I move on to a great and beautiful day, and so it is. Okay, there we go. We're all set. Ready, set. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being here. You'll have to hear the talk that I wrote sometime that I didn't even talk about. All right, have a great day. Thank you. I won't, thank you.